Hello. Good morning. I hope you can hear me. So what is going on, everybody? Welcome to the first official reviews and overviews for CUPCAKE'S Corner. Just trying to... Where am I? Hello, hello. Can you hear me? Let's hope so. If not, then this is going to be some bullshit. But yes, good morning, everybody. So today, last time I was on... Morning, Tim. What's going on, dude? So last time we talked about doing a little book review and overview show. Talked about the Dresden Files, and there was a lot of stuff that I missed that I wanted to mention. For some reason, my AC, the blower motor, isn't working. So when I go over a bump, it turns off. I hate this little man. Can't wait to get my truck back. Doing a timing chain. They're doing everything to my truck. Timing chain. Just doing all kinds of shit, and it's actually at a dealership I used to work at. It's pretty cool. Turn that off. All right, so there was some stuff that I talked about last time about the Dresden Files, and I'm listening to the book again, and there was a lot of stuff that I missed. That I did want to mention before actually going into the book. So I made notes. Pretty professional of me, huh? All right, so the Dresden Files. It's the files. Basically, what these are like crime files. Like Harry Dresden. Camera here. There it is. So Harry Dresden, what he does in the Dresden Files, they are the files of his cases. So these are past cases, and he is explaining his past cases. So it's in the first person. I did this, I did that. So that's where the files comes in. So each one of the books is one of the cases that he had, and he's just going over the case files. It's the case files. Is basically what it is. Delta Zero, good morning, Tim. I forgot to put your thing up there. Good morning, good morning, good morning. So, let's see. Oh yeah, Harry Dresden. There are in each book, it obviously recaps a lot of stuff. But Harry Dresden is really tall. He's about 6'5". He's tall and lanky. He mentions that. So things we missed. Chapter 21 or chapter 21. Chapter 1. He meets. We are introduced, and he has a brand new mailman, and then he has the sign. I think I put it up there. Put it up there again. But yeah, he's got this sign outside of his door, and the mailman, he's like, "Oh man, is this some kind of a joke? Is this?" He's like, "No, just give me my mail." And Harry Dresden is kind of an asshole about it. Like, motherfucker, you're a wizard. Don't be so smug. Like, nobody knows a wizard. And he gets a phone call. It's like, "Oh, are you Harry Dresden? Are you the wizard?" And he asked her her name, and she was reluctant about giving the name. And he says, he goes, "Yeah, people think they're, if you give a wizard your full name, he somehow has power over you." And the thing is, he does. So, like, people are aware of the superstitions, and a lot of the superstitions in this particular universe come to be true. Another thing about Harry Dresden that is mentioned that I forgot to mention that's really important. Since he's a wizard, electronics don't work around him. He can't watch TV. He can't use he just can't use electronics because it always faults. Something goes wrong, it shorts out, and it's all right, this is going into other stuff, but it's called his Murphyonic. He calls it that because Murphy's Law. If anything can go wrong, it will. That's basically what it is with Harry Dresden and electronics. Shit, I forgot to do that. Why in the fuck am I a square? Like, I don't know how that did that, but oh well. Maybe I need to do something with the settings of the camera. Anyway, I could go through that right now, but I'm in the middle of a show. I'm actually broadcasting live now. I'm on live. Oh, and another thing, Harry Dresden is just like us. He's behind on his rent. Obviously, wizards don't make a lot of money, so he mentions that he paid his rent, but that was for last month, and now he's still behind on this month, and it's just basically telling going the first chapter is going through he's just a regular guy who just can do magic. Chapter 2, he goes to he gets a call from the police. He is like a psychic, when the police use psychics. So that's kind of what Harry Dresden is to the police. So and he, if it's an unsolved murder, they go to Harry Dresden and go, hey, is there anything here that you can do? The one police officer we meet, Karen Murphy. She's I mentioned before, she's the head of. God damn, I should have wrote this down, dumbass. But she's the one that contacts Harry, and Harry makes mention that he does this work with the police because they basically, that's their only source of income, other than when he solves when he's being a detective, and he charges $50. Oh shit, chapter 1. Let's go back. His basic rate is $50 an hour with plus expenses. We'll go into that. Sweet Scorpio, good morning, man. Good to see you here. Never seen you here before. Welcome to the book review and overview of the Dresden Files, Stormfront. So he goes to the crime scene where, like I mentioned last time, there's two people in the middle of coitus, and their chests, there was blood all over the room, and their chests exploded. So, and it was, Harry got sick, and the guy that was murdered was Tommy Tom, and he is a henchman of the Chicago crime lord John Marconi, and that's. So the cops are like, oh God, is it, was this a thing against, is this a hit against John Marconi? Is this, so it just basically talks about, the crime scene, and then it goes into the who Tommy Tom was and who the girl was. Was she just a regular prostitute? Was she this? And that was basically it on that. So now let's go to, all right, so and chapter 2, she's Karen Murphy, says, do you know anything about this? What's up? And it was definitely magic that murdered these people. And Harry goes into the rules of magic from the White Council of Wizards. Rule 1 is you can't use magic to kill. If you use magic to cause harm and to kill someone, that's an immediate death sentence. And Harry goes into, I really can't investigate this, because if I were to try to figure out how these people were murdered with magic, I would actually have to do those spells, and that would in turn, that's illegal for me to do. So he's got to figure out a way to, investigate these murders without implicating himself in any wrongdoing. And the reason is he's under the doom of Damocles, like I mentioned last time. And we learned further down, I will mention, that's why I went to chapter 7, because I wanted to get to it. We learned that he is under the doom of Damocles, and if he gets caught breaking another wizard law, it's a death sentence. So Harry's riding he's on a razor thin line of breaking the rules. So that's his, that's his dilemma in solving this crime, even investigating it, is the fact that he's got to, he's going to have to do stuff to investigate it. But if he does these certain things, those are going to be illegal in the wizarding eyes. So in turn, he's going to get fucked up and, get in trouble. So, chapter 3. After all of that, Harry's going home, goes to his little basement apartment. Does it mention that? Oh no, that's next. It's okay. So as he's getting up to his apartment, a big limousine comes up, and then this big monster hulk of a giant man, Cujo Hendrick, that's his name, gets out of the gets out of the limousine, and lo and behold, it's John Marconi, and they've never met, and John Marconi says, "Hey, look, you're a wizard. What's your rate?" And then gives him his rate, $50 an hour plus expenses, and I'll give you a breakdown. And then John Marconi in the first book, the James Marsters calls him Marconi, but for the rest of the series, it's Marcone. So if I say Marcone, it's really Marcone, but in this book, he says Marconi. So John Marcone says, he goes, "How much would it be to not investigate a murder here, Mr. Dresden?" And that kind of sets something off in Harry, like, well, no, he's like, "Listen, I'll pay double your rate for you to just take a 2-week vacation, forget any of this happened." So he's obviously, John Marconi is somehow involved in this. Obviously, one of his guys got killed, but he does not want Harry Dresden the Wizard to investigate this. And in this chapter, we learn about the site. And what is the site? Throughout the book, in the first couple chapters, Harry, when he's talking to someone, he mentions that they never really look him directly in the eye. And in this chapter, we learn why. When you look directly into a wizard's eyes, and it only lasts a second, but once that connection is made, a wizard can see into your soul, and you, in turn, can see into the wizard's soul. So Harry Dresden and everyone up until that point, every human, every person that Harry Dresden met, always averted their eyes. They didn't really. John Marcone was like, "Fuck that." And he looked right to Harry's eyes like, "Yes, motherfucker, let's do this." So he gets the sight, and he sees that John Marcone is a soldier. He is, he mentions that he's a soldier. He, is very convicted in what he thinks. He is, you don't want to cross him. He's, he's very stern and very, in his Monday? I thought it was Wednesday. But he's very, he's very dedicated to his, to his craft of being a mob boss. He's just dedicated, and he's a soldier. And Harry makes mention of there's one little corner of the site of his soul that's just a black box in the corner, and that's something deep, that he is definite. There's something deep in Marcone. There's something that he is definitely either ashamed of or that he's protecting in his sight. Now, in turn, John Marconi can see into Harry's soul. Harry does not know what's in his soul, so he knows that, okay, well, John Marcone's gotten a measure of me now too. So, and John Marcone, just wanted to meet you. If you ever need anything, let me know. And he's like, no, thanks, man. I'm good. I'm straight. I'm all right. I'm good. So can I go now? So he leaves, and he goes into his apartment. Now, Harry's apartment, Harry's apartment, it's a basement apartment, and he has a sub basement too. So he makes mention where he pays the least amount of rent, but he has a two-story residence. And we meet Mister, his cat. He got Mister. He found Mister in the garbage about 3 years ago, and Mister is a 30 pound cat. Is just a big, huge cat. He's bigger than dogs. Some dogs, and he just does his own. He can go out on his own, but Mister is definitely a character. He's and I'm going into these books. I'm going into this, and I'm trying to do it as if I've never read the Dresden Files before. So it's kind of cool to do this book series that I love and enjoy, going at it as if I've never read them before. So that's pretty cool. So we meet Mister, and then he goes through. He's got a wood burning stove. He has, that's how he heats his apartment because, again, electronics and stuff do not jibe with wizards. So it's very old school. So after that, we go to McAnally's pub. Now, McAnally's pub, I cannot confirm this. It has never been confirmed, at least in any of the things I've read about the Dresden Files. But I will go to my grave saying that McAnally's pub is based in part on the Billy Goat in Chicago. Because when it's a kind of bar where you have to walk down, and there's, but McAnally's pub is a pub for wizards and supernatural beings. It's a little hole in the wall. And Mac, the owner, he brews his own beer, and in the pub itself, there are oh shit, I forgot to mention this too. There are, vampires and fairies. They're all over. And Harry makes mention that he does have a fairy godmother. And he goes, oh, but that's something for a later story. So since I've never read these books before, that's Christ. But yeah, apparently Harry has a fairy godmother. So in this pub, there are 13 tables, there are 13 posts, and there are 13 not ceiling fans, 13 windows, just the number 13, and they're not arranged in any specific order, and that is to, dissolve any type of magic, any type of magic power. It'll make magic less potent, I guess you would say. But yeah, Mac makes wonderful steak sandwiches, and Mac doesn't talk very much. He just yeah, okay. So Mac, and that's just where it's his local bar, and he goes there because it's it's a wizarding type of place. Now, as he's talking to Mac, they're just gabbing, having conversation. They bring up there's a drug. Absolutely, there's a drug going around called 3-Eye, and what 3-Eye does, it gives mortals and regular people like the third sight. Like Harry's sight, that he used with Marcone. It's in the newspaper. So, it's talking about that. And then coming into the bar, we meet Harry smells perfume. And he's familiar with this perfume. So he knows it's Susan Rodriguez, reporter for... I can't believe I did not write down the fucking name of the magazine. It's a learning process, everyone. Learning process. So you're learning with me. How's that feel? But yes, the Arcane. It's a magazine about weird stuff. You would probably read about the Loch Ness Monster. You would read about Bigfoot in the Arcane. So, and Susan Rodriguez So obviously he's got his back turned, and when she comes up, he goes, "Hello, Susan," and she goes, "Oh, how'd you know I was here?" He goes, "A wizard never a wizard never tells his his secrets, but he smelled her perfume. That's how he knew." And he makes mention of, "Listen, if people think I'm a wizard, I'm not gonna let on that I'm not gonna let on that I have these supernatural abilities. Yeah, totally. I sensed you walking in. I didn't smell your. It was just your aura that I got as you walked in, Susan." And Susan is always trying to get Harry for an interview. He's like, "No, Susan, no, 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 blah blah blah." And then she uses some word salad, and they end up getting setting up a date. So and she's gonna take him out, and oh, come on, can't we just go out and be friends? Can't we just do this? And then she is gonna take him to this place that is suit and ties. Like, you do have proper attire. Like, yes, of course I do. So she's always bugging Harry about you know, getting a story, getting interviews and stuff. Is my phone getting hot? Son of a bitch. So after that, he leaves, and he makes mention that he has to talk to Bianca the vampiress. He's got to talk to Bianca the vampiress about Tommy Tom's death. Maybe she knows something. So chapter 6, we meet the Blue Beetle. The Blue Beetle is no longer blue. It is an old Chevy. It is an old Volkswagen Bug. And the reason why it's an old Volkswagen Bug is because it's not a modern car. It's a little stick shift that's got, clutch and a shifter. It's just a really basic car that is not going to be affected by his wizard stuff. So, and it's got a white hood and a red door. It's just a whole amalgamation of other kinds of Beetles that Mike the mechanic. That is, yes, his mechanic is Mike, and it definitely is a play on the band Mike and the Mechanics. He's just a wizard. He's just a wizard with cars and stuff. So his case, shit, did I miss that? Oh shit, I did. Son of a bitch. All right, so he goes after he meets Marcone. He goes back to his house, and that's where he goes to his office, and that's where the lady who called him in chapter 1 to make the appointment, and she was reluctant about giving names. And her husband's missing. He reads a lot of books on magic, and he's she's like, I don't, he would go to our house up in Michigan, and he would just do, he was just really recluse sometimes, and he would boom. He was a recluse, and he would just do, and he just read a lot of books on magic. So he's like, okay, yeah, I'll take your case. I mean, I can't dedicate, I've got other things. I'll get to it when I can. And she's like, okay. He's like, well, here's my rates. I do, I would like a retainer. So she gives him $500, 1050s, and another envelope that has a scorpion talisman in it. It's just a regular size scorpion on a leather band, and it looks as though it's some type of talisman, and he just puts it in his drawer. And we go to Max 3, Mr. Okay, so he gets his car, and he's going up to the house in Michigan that Monica, his client, and it's fuck. Gotta see what's up with this fucking AC. So he goes up to Michigan, and he makes mention of he's going on I-94, and going on I-94, you're in Indiana for about 45 minutes, and then it's actually the exact route I take when I'm home and I go. You can go to the dispensary. I mean, it's the exact route. I just thought that was funny. So he gets to the house, and then we learn about being invited into a house. Like how vampires cannot enter unless they're invited. So that plays big into this, into the Dresden Files, where a wizard can still go in the house if he's not invited, but his powers are significantly reduced in that instance. Where if he goes into your house and he's not invited, he won't be able to. His magic is significantly reduced. His magic power is significantly reduced. So he and this is a good thing about Jim Butcher when he's talking about the house. He's just very descriptive. He's just very descriptive about that, about the ambiance of the night. It's cool, and then he mentions the perfect night for catching fairies. So then we learn about catching fairies. He sets a trap, makes a circle, a magic circle, and then he mentions a lot of magic uses circles. And what a circle is, it can either you can either make a circle around you and then put a little bit of willpower in there, and you will be protected inside the circle from all supernatural stuff outside, or a magic circle can be used to trap something. And what he does, he takes a piece of bread and he takes some honey and he puts it in the middle of the circle here, and he takes a little prick of blood, puts it on the bread, and then turns it over so you can't see the blood. And then he just leaves it there, and the trap is set. And then we meet Toot Toot. Toot Toot is he's a small fairy. He's got dragonfly-like wings, and he gets the trap is set, and he gets trapped. And apparently, Toot Toot and Harry have known each other for a while because he still owes him a favor, and favors turn out to be This is going into the favors turn out to be really big in the fairy world. We'll learn about that. We'll learn all about that. But so he sets, Toot, I need you to find something for me. I need you to find information on if there's anybody doing magic, if obviously about this guy that he's Monica's husband. Celis is the last name. I can't remember. All right, so now we need to my notes. I need to update my notes a little bit. But yeah, we learn about Toot Toot, and then he clears circle, and there we go. And then after this, we meet Morgan. Morgan is one of the Wizarding Council's policemen, I guess you would say. He is assigned to Harry because we find out that Harry, the reason why he's under the doom of Damocles, we find out in this chapter, he killed his master, the person who taught him wizarding stuff. But there is a clause where you can't use magic to kill somebody, but you can use magic in self-defense. And so half of the Wizard Council believes that Harry, yes, he was just in self-defense, and the other half is like, no, he killed him. He's So Morgan is of the opinion that Harry Dresden did actually murder his master, and he's always on his ass. He's yeah, and Harry is under suspicion of committing that murder. And because these new murders with the people that the chest exploded, because it definitely magic was used, Harry is under suspicion of committing those murders as well. So that is why Morgan is really on his ass right now, in fact. And Harry, yeah, if Harry messes up again, he will, he's done. So that's why Morgan is going to be on his ass, making sure that, if Harry doesn't wipe his ass after he takes a shit, Morgan will be there to say, hey, that shit taken care of. So we just learned, who Morgan is. And, I guess I went to chapter 8. Oh, of course I went to chapter 8 because chapter 8 we go back to we go back to Harry's apartment where he needs to we go to the subfloor where his lab is, and he goes on to say that that's why he thinks wizards wear robes because their labs are always cold. So we go down to his lab, and he's got a brass ring in the floor. He's got all his books, and it's he's gonna make some potions because you know what, he just needs to. People who are hobbyists, they'll people who hobby crochet, will crochet something. People who are model makers will do this. Well, he's a wizard, so when he has to do something, he makes potions. And this is where we meet Bob. We Bob is a spirit of intellect who is housed in a skull, and Bob knows everything. Bob is the equivalent of the internet in the Dresden verse, and so he's thousands of years old. He's a spirit of air, and he's obsessed with sex. He escaped. See, the skull is where he's supposed to stay, and Harry's his master, so he can't. But when he does escape, he escaped once, and he spent the night in a sorority house. And then behind the skull, there's a bunch of trashy novels. He's just sex obsessed, and that was pretty funny. And so he starts making a potion. He's going to make an escape potion, and then, dude, if you're familiar, Bob, I have a feeling, Tim, that you are familiar with the Dresden Files. So he's going to make an escape potion because he's going to go see the vampiress Bianca, and he wants to have an escape potion just in case things get hairy. He can bounce out, with the escape potion. And then Bob makes mention, if you're going to make one potion, you might as well make two. And the reason behind that is there has to be time to make the potion. You got to stir it. You got to let it sit. While you're doing that, you can go ahead and make another potion. And they go into the logistics of making potion. He had to for the escape potion. It's just different kinds of there's not eye of newt and leg of spider. It's coffee grounds, and he needed diamonds for he makes a love potion along with the escape potion. So he had to use perfume. He had to use money. He had to use there's fuck, I should have wrote this down too. Son of a bitch. There's five. There's five. There's always five ingredients to a potion, and each of the five cover a certain aspect of magic. And then you need to put, your force of will. Let that sit there, and right on. Excellent, fantastic. So that's where I'm going to stop. We're at a half hour. Perfect. Exactly what I was thinking. And, these are going to be little half-hour snippets in the mornings here. So that's about it. We left off at Harry making a potion, and we met Bob. And next time we're probably going to meet Bianca the vampiress. So other than that, let's see if we can see that. Oh, yeah, my phone's getting hot. We have to end it soon anyway. Well, I am in Kansas City, and I don't know if you can see that, but I am at Subtropolis. I'm at the pilot truck stop right by Subtropolis. And Subtropolis, what that is, it is a shipping place that's underground. I should have posted pictures. Maybe I'll do it a little bit later. Definitely, I'll do it on X. So if you're not following me on X, follow me at Box Truck Cupcake. Like this up. Well, thank you again for the 2021 of you hanging out with me. Still trying to Still trying to, iron this out, seeing how if I want to do this, if the chapter by chapter review, if the overview works, and then as soon as we're done with the book, we'll do the full review. But thank you guys for joining me. We will. I don't know if I'm going to do this every day or every other day. Maybe every other day will be good. Maybe we'll try every day. I don't know. But this has been Cupcake's review and overview. Thank you, everybody. And if you have questions about the book, just shoot me a question on Twitter at BoxTruckCupcake, and I will be more than happy to answer those questions. And Space Chief, I know you mentioned your wife was interested. Yeah, these are great books. These are fucking great books. But yeah, so that's about it for now. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with me here. And until next time, I will see you at DabbleCon. DabbleCon's about 3 weeks away, 2.5 weeks away. Maybe in that time, I will... SJ Fanboy, what's up? Or SG Fanboy. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to do this. I think this is going to be my one time where I'm going to have to schedule something. And if I can't do a live, I will do it the night before and then just post the video of the. I'll post the video at 9 o'clock. I think I'll do it every other day. Every other day sounds good. But yeah, if I find some cool place to do where in the States is American Cupcake, we'll definitely do that. And there's this other podcaster, Catalano TV. He and I'm going to totally steal his idea. He had a great idea. He's going to be driving from Tampa to Rochester and probably stopping at cool places on the way there. I thought that was such a great idea that I'm going to steal his idea and do that myself. So I corrected myself, man. I corrected myself, SG. But yeah, we're going to call it quits. Thanks for joining me. The Dresden Files, Stormfront. If you want to follow along, get it from Audible, get it from your library, get it whatever. But here, I'll put the picture of it up so you can see. Stormfront, right there by Jim Butcher. That's the book we are reviewing and overviewing. So let me get a shot of Jim Butcher here so you can see. I love this. Jim Butcher looks like a dude who reads Jim Butcher books. So, I mean, that's the kind of guy that's writing these books. So you know it's going to be good. So we're going to call it quits from now. If you didn't catch it, just you can watch it again. That's the cool thing about YouTube. If you don't catch it live, you can always rewatch it. So we're going to call it quits for right now. If anything, I will see you guys on Friday morning. Reviews and stories all the